What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Okay, so this video is going to be about the narrative control that is taking place right before our eyes. There are multiple different things that are happening at the moment. One of them is the drone situation in New Jersey. We know that President Donald Trump said that he would say what the drones are a day after inauguration. It's been 7 days and we hadn't gotten any news on it, but we did just get this from one of his secretaries. Here's the clip.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
Yeah, so nothing to see here, folks. It's funny, though, because we have the mayor of New Jersey talking about seeing with his own eyes these drones transforming into something else, or orbs transforming into drones. We have multiple military personnel who had these drones hovering above their house, about 100 meters above their house, which is really, really low. And we have President Joe Biden, who couldn't tell us this when he was still in office. We know that Kirby did mention that they didn't know what they were. And now this lady comes on and says that they do, and that they're regulated, and there's some of them are hobbyists. It kind of sounds like there's some type of narrative control going on, doesn't it? So that's one thing. Another thing is that it is possible that some of these drones are part of some secret program from the United States, and that's why they're not doing anything about them. But the issue here is that they're not saying what they are. That is the problem. People are still bewildered by what happened, and many of them don't believe at all of what this lady is talking about, because the confidence in the government is at an all-time low right now, and people just don't buy it anymore. I understand that there's also this need from UFO-friendly folk to conflate and say that these drones are UFOs or are part of the UFO phenomenon. I wouldn't go that far, if I'm honest with you. Just the ones that have been reportedly transforming into drones, from orbs into drones, reported by multiple people, those might be anomalous. I still don't know if they are, but they might be. I just leave the door open for that. But the ones that look like planes may be just planes. And the ones that are drones that are weird looking, those may be just part of a secret program. I agree with that, though. But this narrative control is taking place right before our eyes, especially after President Trump decided to approve the declassification of the JFK assassination files and the RFK assassination files and the Martin Luther King Jr. assassination files. I just spoke to Australian researcher and former Intel analyst Geoff Cruikshank. We talked about this. I'm going to leave the link in the description. We talked about how these next 10 days or so are going to be extremely important and crucial for getting disclosure. He says that if these files are released in a chaotic fashion, it is possible that we may get some type of catastrophic disclosure. But according to what I spoke to him about, he thinks the catastrophic disclosure has to do with the US and other governments being affected by the release of these secrets. That includes my country, Mexico. And it may well include other countries that we don't know about yet. But the main culprit of this specific event is the CIA. So we know that Danny Sheehan spoke to both Jesse Michaels and Danny Jones about this very specific topic. And in both conversations, it was very clear to me that the CIA was directly involved with this. Another type of narrative control is what just happened with Chris Bledsoe. Because if you guys haven't noticed, I did tell you a few days ago that Chris Bledsoe had 2 podcasts that were coming out that were big. One was with Fred Durst, the Limp Bizkit frontman, who, if you don't know, he's a Stephen Greer supporter, and he's very much into the UFO topic as we are. He's just like more secretive and conspicuous about it. He's been in a couple of podcasts before. He was with Bill Maher months ago talking about 0 point energy. And now we know that he did record a podcast with Chris Bledsoe. We don't know if that one will release soon. I hope it does. But the one with Shawn Ryan, it was just announced that it was canceled. And I got Mr. Ryan Bledsoe, Chris Bledsoe's son, explaining what happened. I'm going to read it to you guys so you guys can tell. Ryan Bledsoe says, question, when will the Chris Bledsoe interview be aired on the Shawn Ryan show? I thought it was coming out on January 23rd. Answer, it will not be aired. It has been censored. When my father and I initially recorded with Shawn Ryan at his studio in Nashville in September 2024, we were told the episode would be released in 1 month, meaning sometime in October or November. When nothing aired, we asked his booker assistant when the air date would be so that we could align our own internal plans with the episode release. The answer was January 23, 2025. Let's take a few steps back. We were first introduced to Shawn Ryan via a friend of mine. When the episode did not air late last year, my friend approached Shawn directly to ask about the air date, to which Shawn replied that he wasn't certain it would air at all. What? When asked why, Shawn mentioned he did not want to be associated with our story. In a separate note, just a couple of weeks back, a BSS podcast listener, that means Bledsoe said so, sent an inquiry to Vigilance Elite, Shawn's production company brand. Our podcast listener received a message in return noting that the episode is still within the pipeline and it will be released. On January 22nd, my friend approached Shawn once more to learn more about when the episode will air. I know many of our listeners have also been anxiously waiting the release of this episode. Shawn then revealed via a phone call with my friend that it will not air due to the fact that Shawn, among other things, cannot be associated with the elements of our story. Now, please understand, this is not a burn against Shawn Ryan. My father and I very much enjoyed our time with Shawn Ryan and his crew in Tennessee. And we feel the same from Shawn, that he genuinely enjoyed his time with us in person. Following the recording, he even told us that the episode was amazing. We're simply sharing this note to answer your question about the release date and encourage you to put some thought into content which is intentionally shared and content which is not shared via the various platforms you are receiving information from. Shawn has every right to not air our episode, to not be associated with our message. It's his show and not by any means our property to share. But we challenge you to think about the messages which have been aired via his platform and will be aired via his platform in the future, and the content which has been censored and not given the same opportunity to reach the same audiences. We're sharing this information with you because you, as a consumer, deserve to know in full transparency. We have remained honest with you. I cannot say that our family is not disappointed with this outcome. We were very excited to be given a platform to tell the story, especially with an audience the size of Shawn's. If there were elements that felt uncomfortable to share within the episode, why not splice some portions out? Our family has spent nearly 2 decades trying to share the message of love and positivity within the world. Simply recounting our own personal experiences with intelligent phenomenon. In some cases, we will be given that opportunity. And in some other cases, that opportunity has not and will not be granted. However, we believe in divine timing and that our message will reach those who need it most. We're incredibly thankful to those who have uplifted our story and for the opportunities we've had to tell it. Our message is simple. We are all fractals of God. You can connect to the heavens by yourself, and it can and will talk back to you. Keep pressing on with sharing the truth. My family will. A couple things after reading this. One is, I saw Shawn Ryan speaking to Joe Rogan and their show. And when they talked about the phenomenon, Shawn was very clear. He is a Christian. He believes in ancient scripture. He believes in prophecy. And he believes that the apocalypse is coming. So he's a religious fundamentalist. Let's make that clear, okay? So the fact that Chris Bledsoe's message is positive and Chris Bledsoe doesn't think that an apocalypse is coming, that is one of the first conflicts that I see with Shawn Ryan's message and Chris Bledsoe's message. And that would be one of the reasons that I think Shawn and the people around him wouldn't want to air that episode, because if Chris Bledsoe was there spreading the positivity of his message, and Shawn believes that a doom is coming or an apocalypse is coming, and he said that, you can go back and check it out. That would be the reason why Chris Bledsoe's episode hasn't been released. I do not agree with some aspects of what Ryan said. I think that despite them saying that they're not religious, a lot of the message that is being given by the Bledsoes is religious in nature, because they do talk about angels, they do talk about God and all of that. And as I said before in some of my other videos, we need to remain open to every possibility, not just that. So anybody who says it's this, the phenomenon is this, I am certain of it. You can't say that. You simply don't know. If you want to go back to the writings of John Keel or Jack Vallee, this messengers of deception idea, we don't know if this phenomenon is talking to the Bledsoes and a lot more people in the world and just giving them some messages that they want to hear, or messages that are deceitful. We don't know. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I'm just saying we need to remain open to every possibility. So I do believe that Chris Bledsoe and his family are experiencing something with the phenomenon. I do believe that Jake Barber is experiencing something with the phenomenon. But I want to be 100% sure that it is something positive and not some type of deception, because the literature points at some type of deception that has been happening for millennia. So we need to be careful with that. But yeah, that is also narrative control from Shawn Ryan's show and the people that he surrounds himself with. He was at the presidential inauguration. So you already know what type of people he surrounds himself with. And that is alarming because you can see it before your eyes. Damage and narrative control is taking place right now. So what can we do? I think that the ones that need to be at the forefront of either disclosure or trying to get transparency on the UFO topic need to be trustworthy people, meaning scientists, academia, and I think that's about it, because honestly, I don't trust politicians. Maybe people from the military, perhaps generals, colonels, all that stuff, because they have a sense of patriotism and working for the people. But the intelligence community, it's been proven before many times over that they don't regard the people as important. They consider people an asset to the country. So, yeah, if we want someone to be this quote unquote UFO czar or UAP czar, I would give it to someone who is either a scientist or a military man, or who hasn't had any past in the intelligence community, or someone from academia. But that's just my idea. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, especially people who align with Lou. I got nothing against him. I'm just calling it like I see it. But what do you guys think about this narrative control that is taking place before our eyes? What do you think will happen 10 days from now when these documents are released? Jeff Cruikshank said that there's a major issue with this release of the files because the CIA will be in a very, very precarious situation if they are released as such. He even said that there's going to be catastrophic disclosure. I don't know if that's the case, but catastrophic disclosure does seem to be like the only option left, especially with what happened today with the drone announcement and with this stuff about the Chris Bledsoe episode on Shawn Ryan being banned. Why is that? I mean, yeah, having religious ideas of the phenomenon is something that I question too, but flat out just censoring something, that's wild. So I want to know your thoughts on this. It's probably going to be a spicy one in the comments, but let me know what you think. Please try to be respectful. I know that you're not going to agree on everything that I say, but we can still have a debate if we're respectful and disagree with each other, and that's fine. I mean, I like that actually, because that way we can understand each other better. That's what I think. Yeah, let me know. If you like the content you see, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can get notified when a new video drops. If you want to support the channel in any other way, there's a couple of links in the description. And we have a members channel too, so you can take your pick. Thank you for the support. And that's going to be it for me today with this video. I got an interview coming out tomorrow, a really interesting one with a very knowledgeable person on the topic. So stay tuned. And remember, stay curious. Bye.